Hi guys, welcome back here. Let's make liquid soup. So to make liquid soup, you must get a large container, your stirrer, your water, depending on the quantity you are making, your face mask, and also your hand gloves. That is if you are allergic to these chemicals that we are going to use. So to make liquid soup, whenever you go to buy it, they have already tied it into a set. So this is the booster and this is the thickener. The yellow one is the thickener. We also have the perfume, depending on the type that you want, and this is salt, 1 kg of salt, and there is also a preservative that can keep it for a longer time, and also the color here, and then your base, that is the texapon. So I'll begin by first pouring in the texapon, also known as the base, into my container. I never knew how to make it until my unit director organized a training for us and I was able to get the whole process. So now I'm going to add the salt and then mix it thoroughly with the texapon. When you know how to make liquid soup, it will save you a lot because you will not be spending so much money buying from outside. So now I'm just going to be mixing it, the base and the salt. I didn't pour all the salt. I'm just going to keep it so that if my liquid soup is getting thinner and I want it to thicken, I'll just add the remaining salt. So the salt has some lumps in it, so I had to use my stirrer just to hit it to dissolve everything in the base. If not, if you don't dissolve it and you finish, your liquid soup will not be smooth. So you just have to give it some time and attention. So now after mixing it, I'm just adding water. So with the water, I'll continuously add it gradually so that I'll get the texture that I want. So you have to be monitoring how you pour in the water so that depending on the consistency that you want, whether you want it to be light, whether you want it to be very thick, or to be in a medium consistency. So I'm just going to be adding the water. So in all, I use 17 liters of water to make this liquid soup. And you can get this after you have finished with the packaging. You know the quantity of water that you have used, or if you have a measurable bucket too, you can use it to measure your liquid soup. So we have other forms of these agents that is being used for liquid soup. They have the dry ingredients, but I'm using the wet ingredients. But the day I was taught, the person used dry ingredients to teach us. But where I went to buy this, I didn't get the dry ones. So I just had to call a friend to show me how to use the liquid ingredients. So they are all the same process, and it's just how carefully you add in your water. So at this point, I'll be adding my booster, that is the foam booster. But the texapon, that is the base, has some foaming properties and thickening properties. So some people may decide not to add the foam booster and even the thickener. So if you don't add the thickener and the foam booster, you can just make sure that the water you are using is not too much. You can also use only the base and the salt to make your liquid soup. So this is the thickener that I just added. I use the lid of the bottles to count about 5 of it to add it. So the remainder of the salt is what I'm just adding, and it will make the liquid soup thicker. Sometimes if your liquid soup is too light, you can add a little salt to make it thick. And sometimes too, if you over add the salt, you may also get a very light liquid soup. So you have to always be careful when making your liquid soup. So I'm still adding some water, and I'm adding it gradually. So always remember not to just pick a bucket of water and pour it completely into your basin, but you should just do it gradually, so that when it is becoming light and you don't like it, you know how to handle it. So look at the consistency. To me, I feel like this is too light for my liking, even though it's foamy. So I'll have to alter it, and you see it in this video how I'll gain back the thickness that I want, especially if you want to use it for business purposes. So this is the preservative. So I'll add a little. You may decide not to add it, but this is just to keep it in its like quality form. That is, if you are going to store it for a longer period. So after adding it, I'm just going to mix it thoroughly so that every portion of the liquid soup gets the preservative. So now this is my color. I don't know the color, but if I add it, I'll know. So this is, let me stir it and see how it's going to be. That is green, color green. Because when I bought it, I didn't open it. I have strong allergic reaction, so I didn't open it there until I got home and wore my face mask before I opened it. So I'm just going to be adding it gradually, so that when it gets to the consistency that I want, I'll stop. Or better still, I can use the whole thing if I want it to be very deep. So you may also decide to fetch some portion of the liquid soup, mix it with the color, and then pour it into the basin. So depending on whichever way you want it. But this was how I was taught. The person just poured in the powder form of the color and then made us to mix it, and it was so nice. So this liquid soup, I think, is going to be a very nice one, just like the store-bought ones. This color is so attractive, and you get the actual color when it settles down for like 12 to 24 hours. If you leave it for some time, you get the actual color. This is not going to be the actual color of the liquid soup. So it doesn't take so much time to make your liquid soup. Within 20 to 30 minutes, you are done with the making of your liquid soup. So now I'm just going to add the perfume. Some people will leave it when they are about packaging it, then they will add it. But me, I don't want it to be having this strong scent, because I don't like strong perfumes. So if I put it this way and leave it somewhere overnight, the next day I can easily package it without getting a reaction. So I'm pouring in some of the thickener and the booster, that is the foam booster again. I want it to be too foamy, so that when I'm going to use it, I'll just pour a little. So I've just added some small salt from my kitchen. The 1 kg I bought, I use all, but I still want it to be thick. You know, I told you I will show you how to make it thicker. So this is what I'm just doing. I just added some salt, and then the booster, and also the thickener. So you can just use like 5 spoons, just the spoon we use to eat rice. You can use about 5 of it to add the salt. So So you can see how it has changed just after adding it. So now I'm just going to leave it far away from my room because of my allergies. So this is the next morning. So I just brought it out and I'm adding the remainder of the booster and also the thickener before I'll do my packaging. So because the people have already measured everything and put it in a set to sell for 85 Ghana cedis, you can equally use everything, or you decide to use and leave some, so that the next time you go to buy, you just tell them that I need only base or texapon, I need only salt or your kitchen salt. You can use and leave some of these ingredients so that later you only buy the base for it. So this is how foamy my liquid soap is. So now it's time for me to just put them in my containers. You can see the color is very nice. I just like this color. I didn't know that was how the color was going to be like. When it settles down, you see the color, the actual color will show up. So I'm just going to, these are bottle containers that, you know, I've been buying this from people, so I just had to go into my storeroom and remove them and wash so that I can use it to package my liquid soap. So from now onwards, I don't think I'll ever buy liquid soap, because when it gets finished, I'm going to make it myself. And I'll be making a shower gel that I'll be uploading the video here. So please watch out and also share this video. Thank you so much for staying tuned. See you next time with quality videos. Bye.